Ladies and gentlemen, Matthews here from Emmanuel Forex Traders. I hope you're doing great. So in this video, I'm going to make a very interesting video. I've made this video in the past, but I want to redo this video again, right? So I just want to show you how probability works, right? I want to prove to you that you can never know what's going to happen on a trade by trade basis. And just like flipping a coin, there's no way for us to know in advance what's going to happen when we flip that particular coin right here. So what I'm going to demonstrate here is the power of probability. And if you believe in your strategy, that need of you being able to consistently execute your strategy regardless of the outcome of the previous trade, you being able to stick to the risk management of your strategy that you know it works through the losing streak and through the wins, right? So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be flipping this online coin flipper, right? I'm going to be flipping this coin, and our edge in this coin flipper is going to be heads, meaning you're going to be calling heads every time we flip this coin. And if you can look what is happening right here, so the global statistics shows, right, there's been this total number of flips. This is almost like what, this is about 49 million flips, right? And you can see that after a lot of flips like this, it has actually shown that there was what, 49% heads and 50.68 tails, meaning at the end of the day the win rate was like 50%, right? So this is how it is. So this can represent your strategy. Maybe your strategy has a 50% win rate, or it might have less, but regardless, that's what we're going to use, okay? And then we're going to be calling heads every time because that's our edge. That represents your strategy. And then we are going to have a fixed fixed risk per trade of about $250 per trade, right? We're going to be risking $50 per trade. If we win, we are making $50. I mean, if we lose, we'll lose $250. And then when we win, we're going to be making the risk reward ratio is 1 to 5, right? So meaning whenever we're losing $50, and whenever we're winning, we're winning how much? 250 times 5, and that will be $1,250, right? And that's going to be our reward if price reaches our take profit, which means price coming up heads. And that's how it is. And if you've been following us for a long time, you realize that our strategy gives us up to 1 to 30 risk reward ratio. It can go up to 1 to 20, 1 to 15, and all that. So I'm just going to get an average of 1 to 5 so that this can represent our strategy. And I want to show you that there's no need for you to try and predict, trying to know what's going to happen on a trade by trade basis. And on a trade by trade basis, the outcome is always random, and there's no way for you to know in advance. So I'm going to take 20 trades all together. So let's see how it's going to actually play out. We're going to record everything here, so let's get started without wasting much of the time. All right, so let's start right now. So we flip the coin right here. All right, so we've taken a loss right here, a loss of negative $250. So that's $250 right here. That's negative $250. So that will be in red. Okay, and then let's go. The next flip is okay. So we've made $1,250. So we seem to have started off on a good note. So we'll change this to green, okay, to represent the money. So let's just do that. Okay, and then yeah, so let me just add the dollar sign right there, and then also right there. Let's flip the coin again. That's our second trade. That's the third trade. That's a loss. Good. So that's negative $250. As you can see, there is literally no way for us to know in advance what's going to happen. I have no idea. Anything can happen. And just like your strategy tells you you're going to be profitable over a series of trades. It doesn't tell you on a trade by trade basis which trade is actually going to work out. So you are obligated to take all trade setups that meet your criteria, provided you have a strategy. You can see, and if you didn't know, you can have up to with a 50% win rate, you can have up to 9 losses in a row. Up to 9 losing streaks in a row. You can have up to 9 losses in a row. And the chances of that happening is actually 100%. So you can see that we've had a strings of losses, 3 losses in a row, which is okay because we expect it. That's the tricky part. You need to expect the losses to come for you to not get hurt when you encounter losses. And as Trader Tom puts it, you have to expect to be uncomfortable. You have to assume you are wrong until proven otherwise, and that's the only way for you to not to be emotional when taking losses. Because look, this is a 50% win rate, and the best traders out there have a strategy of that much percentage. And look, but most people, when they take losses like this, they get to be discouraged. They want to change the strategy because they're coming with a wrong mindset. Okay, but you understand that if you win just one trade, you'll be able to make almost 5 times that amount. So why are you stressing out when you're taking these losses? Because you know that you can just recover all those with just one winning trade. So it really doesn't really make sense, right? So it's a matter of us executing this strategy, because we understand that we have a strategy that makes money over time. You can see these are 5 losses in a row. What happens when you have 5 losses in a row? Most people can't handle this, right? We are not equipped to actually accept losses. Once you have these strings of losses, most of the times people would say, maybe let me start calling tails, right? Because I've been calling heads all this while for 5 times, and I've been taking losses. Let me maybe change and use another strategy. And that's how people end up finding themselves changing strategies over strategies, just strategy after strategy, because they think there's a strategy out there that doesn't lose. This is a 50% win rate strategy, and we've had 5 losses in a row. It's normal. It's expected. You're supposed to expect this so that you're not emotional when taking these losses. All right. You have to have the confidence in your strategy, and the confidence only comes through backtesting and seeing your strategy work several times. And we know that our strategy right now is profitable. It has the win rate of 50%, right? But we don't know in what series those 50% winning trades are going to come, right? So we don't know. And Mark Douglas puts it like this: there's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. So yes, we know we're going to win 50% of the trades, but we have no idea in what series those 50% are going to come, and there's no way for us to know in advance. That's the reason why we always have to predefine our risk and make sure we are comfortable taking those losses. Look, right now this is the 60th trade and it's a loss. How many of you guys are going to continue taking taking trades using this same strategy after having 6 losses in a row? Most people can't. They'll be complaining bitterly because they no longer trust the strategy, because they've just had 6 losses in a row, right? But when you have the confidence in a strategy and you know that if you continue to execute that strategy, that winning trade is going to come. And you know what? The tricky part is that if you stop trading after taking these strings of losses in a row, the next trade becomes the most important trade, because if you avoid the next trade, that's a trade that will have actually made you money. And if you missed it out, you're assuming you know what's going to happen. In the actual sense, you and I have no idea what's going to happen next. So it's a matter of us executing our strategy flawlessly. And that's what's going to keep you in the game. You can see that the outcomes are random. This is a 50% win rate strategy. This is a 50% win rate strategy, and we've had 6 losses in a row. And this is now the second win right here. So this is the 9th trade, and this one is a winner. And if just imagine if I got tired of taking these losses, and then I was like, let me just change my strategy so that I start calling heads. I start calling tails in this case, right? And I've missed out on this good winning trade. So what you can learn from here is that it's all about having an edge in the market, having the confidence to execute your strategy flawlessly, right? You have to be able to do that, because if you don't have the confidence, guess what? Just after having 2-3 losses in a row, you give up. You give up because you've not seen the strategy work. You've not seen that strategy actually prove to yourself that it actually works. And that's one thing. So most people come to trading, they don't really actually trust their strategy. So when they take losses, it hits them bad, and because they've not actually expected it, it becomes really really bad. But from here you can see that even if we've taken these losses right here, we are still overall profitable. We are still profitable overall, and that's the power of probability. You must be able to do this regardless of how uncomfortable it is. I know it's going to be uncomfortable because you are losing money right here, but you have to have a strategy. Have a strategy and have the confidence in that strategy that if you continue to execute that strategy, you're going to be profitable. And if anyone has been in our group, either Signals or mentorship community, you see me taking trades even after taking losses because I trust my strategy. I know if I continue to do this, I'm going to be profitable. And that's the kind of confidence that you're supposed to have as a trader. Otherwise, you're going to give up just after taking 3 or 4 losses in a row. And that's a win right there. As you can see here, all these trades are coming in a very random fashion, and there is no way for us to know in advance which one is going to be a winner. Absolutely no way for us to know. So we should quit doing trying to actually predict what's going to happen, because we'll just be wasting time. And we've had another win right here, which is a good thing. As long as you follow your strategy, you know that these winning trades are going to come. But the tricky part is that you don't know when they're going to come. So you need to have that belief in the strategy that as long as you continue to do that, you're going to make money, right? But on a trade by trade basis, no one knows what's going to happen. And as Mark Douglas puts it, on a trade by I have no confidence on a trade by trade basis. On any individual trade that I take, I have no confidence because anything can happen. But I have absolutely confident. I'm absolutely confident over a series of trades I'm going to be profitable. Why? Because I have a strategy with statistical edge, and it has shown me that this strategy has worked in the past and it will work as long as I continue to execute. I continue to take the trades that meets my criteria, and this is how it is. But most people give up when they take six losses in a row, and this becomes very very hard to actually deal with. And that's the reason why I always emphasize, as long as you have a strategy that works, you have to spend 90% of your time working on your mindset, right? Because these losses in a row, they're going to actually trigger your emotions. Us as human beings are emotional beings. We are triggered, and whenever there's that, we are emotionally hijacked, what we call as amygdala hijack. So a losing trade is going to be a trigger, and it's going to trigger what we call the amygdala, which is the part of the limbic system, which is going to cause you to actually cause your body to start secreting the hormones such as epinephrine and norepinephrine, which will cause you to either fight, flight, or freeze. And most of us as traders, we end up fighting the market. We end up revenge trading, and then we end up blowing accounts because we don't know how to lose. The best thing that you can do as a trader is to become a best loser. Become good, exceptionally good at losing, and you are going to be successful in this game. Be a good loser, because if you become a good loser, you won't react to losses, right? And then you're going to save your accounts, because as you can see from here, there's a random distribution between wins and losses in a set of variables that define an edge. And right here, our edge is just simply calling heads every time, right? So that's a win right there. And there's no way for us to know in advance when these losses are going to come. Absolutely no way, right? Maybe you might try. You might want to give it a guess. Can you guess what's going to happen next right here? Is there a way for you to know? Maybe you can guess. Give it a guess. Let's see if you're going to be right. Okay. Hope you've guessed. Let's flip this coin. Did you guess it right? If you did, comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Did you get it right? I'm sure you didn't, because it was random and no one can know in advance, right? And that's a loss right that we have right there. So that's a 16th, 17th trade right here. That's a loss right here. So I would encourage you to actually play this game so that you familiarize yourself with losing, so that you become good at losing, so that you're able to take trades even after taking losses. Because if you do that, you're going to prepare yourself for trading. You're going to prepare your mind for trading, because in trading there's so much uncertainty, and one thing that I always emphasize is you are supposed to have a long-term mindset and think in terms of larger sample size, because in the short term there's so much uncertainty. Anything can happen in the short term. But now, if you do this continuously, give yourself maybe 15 to 20 trades, you're going to realize that at the end of the day, you are going to be profitable. You might have a strategy with probably maybe let's say 1 to 3%, 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, and maybe like 40% win rate. You can still be profitable. It's just a matter of you sticking to your risk management, making sure that on every trade you are following your risk. And for me, I recommend from 0.25 to 1% maximum per trade, so that when those losses come, you won't be affected emotionally. Trust me, if you are not comfortable taking those losses, it can get to you. They can really get to you, and you really, really need to actually be good at taking losses. That one will save you big time. Be good at taking losses so that you are not affected, because once you are triggered, you are going to do some really, really, really bad things, such as revenge trading, and then you're going to use bigger lot sizes that you're going to regret later on. So that's how it is. So right now we've taken 20 trades, and out of these 20 trades, we've had how many wins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've had 7 wins right here out of 20. Right, we had 7 wins out of 20. So 7 minus, so we've had 13 losses right here. Okay, so number of losses, so 13 times 250, we've lost how much? That's 3,000. Would have lost 3,250 US dollars. This would have been our loss. And then now let's calculate our profit right here. So 7 times 1,250 US dollars, and then we would have made 8,750 US dollars. Do you see what is happening here? Do you see what is happening here? Even though we took a lot of losses, even though we only won 7 trades out of 20, right? We are still profitable. We are still profitable. Why? Because we continued to use proper risk management. By us sticking to our risk management, we stuck by that regardless of the losing trades. And you can see that the net profit right here is $5,500. And this is only possible if you are consistently executing your strategy. Ask yourself, how is your trading account? Do you risk a lot more on this particular trade and unlike the next one? And I'd encourage you to actually use the same risk on all trades that meets your criteria, provided you only have one setup like we do, right? For us, we are supposed to use one setup, and then all those setups right there we're supposed to be consistent with our risk management, so that we don't have 250 right here, maybe 750 loss right here, 500 loss. You're supposed to be consistent with that, because we understand that even though the setup might look perfect, the outcome is always random. So there's no need for us to do that. So be consistent with the risk management. These losses are going to come, and there's no way for us to avoid it, and there's no way for you to know in advance that this trade here is going to be a loss. And just like this, we will never know when the wins are going to come. There's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given strategy. So understand that, and understand your strategy. Find out, really make sure you are competent with the strategy, and do your back testing. Know what you expect from your strategy, and then keep on executing regardless the outcome of the previous trade. Keep on executing your strategy, because you understand that your strategy is profitable. Keep on executing. Whenever you are taking these losses, it's going to be hard on your psychology. It's going to be very, very hard on your psychology. Therefore, I always always try and talk about this because mindset is so much important. It's really, really important. So find things that you can that can help actually help you work on your mindset. Things like meditation, exercising, right? Taking deep breaths whenever you are taking a trade or when walking away. Just anything that's going to help you prevent you from self-sabotaging whenever you're going to take a loss. Guess what? Losses are inevitable. There is no way for you and I to know in advance what's going to happen. Absolutely no way for us to know, right? So let me just show you some of the trade summary for this particular week right here. Let me just show you. These are the trades that we took this week right here, right? So our first trade was a break-even trade. Our second trade was a loss. Then our third trade went 10R in profit right here, our USD trade. And then we had NZD Swiss right here, which is still running. Right now, we've locked in about 7R right here. And then we had the EURUSD, which was a loss right here. We took the second trade, it was a break even. And guess what? We took AUD NZD, beautiful setup, failed. We saw another re-entry opportunity, failed. Then the market came to the second zone where I was waiting for it to come to. Guess what? Failed again. This is too hard for most people. Most people are not equipped to actually trade, if I have to be honest, right? Because whenever you encounter losses like this, it's going to be hard on your psychology. It's going to be hard. But when you know that you have this strategy that works, you are supposed to keep on executing. Remember, you and I have no control over outcome. No matter what you can do, no matter how perfect the setup might be, you have no control over what's going to happen. Because you have no control over what's going to happen, what you have control over is making sure that you are waiting for the right confirmations. You are trading from the L plus setups. That's what you can control. Other than that, you have no control. Even though we seem to have a lot of losses right here and break-even trades, only 2 good winning trades, guess what? We are still net profitable. Why? Because we have a good risk to reward ratio, right? And that's how you become a consistently profitable trader. It's not about pips. It's about the risk to reward ratio. How much do you make when you win? How much do you lose when you lose? Make sure you know that. And that's the only thing that's going to keep you in the game. That's what's going to differentiate you from the 95% of people, right? Because most people, whenever they encounter strings of losses like this, they lose it. Most people lose it. That's the reason why you are supposed to work on your mindset. Before you take a trade, tell yourself, I'm willing to take a loss on this particular trade and I'm okay with this. And this is how much I'm willing to bet on this particular trade. And I'm completely okay with taking this trade. And guess what? The emotions are going to be lessened because you'd have already predefined the risk. And tell yourself that I'm wrong until proven right. I'm wrong until proven otherwise. And also tell yourself every day before taking a trade that you expect to be uncomfortable, because the market won't just go direct to your take profit. It will make lower lows and lower highs, or higher highs and higher lows. And you and I have no control over that, right? So this is how it is. And I really thought I could actually share these things with you guys, and hoping that you found some value on this particular video right here, because I know this is the unsexy part about trading, right? This is where you don't see most people talk about these things, because yeah, so this is the unsexy part about trading. People don't show you the losing trades, they only show you profits, because they have an invested interest in that, right? Because that's what sells. So here we try by all means to be as transparent as possible so that you come with a realistic expectation. All right, so I hope you found value in this video. Comment in the comment section, like the video, share it with friends so that we can continue to make such content. You guys, until next time, goodbye.